Hello, and welcome back to Student of the Gun Radio on a Tuesday. We're getting you through your week. We hope that you're enjoying your week so far. We hope you had a good day yesterday. We hope you enjoyed yesterday's show. And I didn't even mention, I don't think, yesterday, Jeremy Horn, and thank you to Jeremy Horn for joining us last Thursday. I hope that all of you out there in the Student of the Gun audience appreciated and enjoyed that interview. We had a lot of fun doing it.
It was a pretty fun interview.
I think it showed.
Yeah, it was definitely fun. I got a lot of good information as well. I think those of you guys, some of our listeners are just now getting caught up with it because they saved their stuff until the end of the week.
They hold on to it.
Yeah, which is good.
I guess it's called the process of delayed gratification. You know what that is, don't you, Jared?
Yeah.
Not to be confused with something else, but what? Those who know, and those who don't. So there you go. Moving right along. Yeah, it is Tuesday, and welcome back to Student of the Gun Radio. I am your host, Professor Paul Markle, and we are inside of the Glass Case of Emotion Studios, where Alex has a little look on her face, and she's making the...
Oh, we got her. Oh, we got her. No, that was... Okay, admit to her. It was me.
It was him.
I told Zach to do it. So now I have to tell everybody on the radio what happened.
All right.
Okay, so Dad got a Bob. If you guys
body opponent bag. It's a punching bag that looks like a rubber dude. It looks like a flesh-colored rubber dude.
Yeah, it looks like a dude, so, you know, if you walk into a dark room and he's sitting right next to the door, then it probably scares you. So I told Zach on this weekend, I think it was Saturday, I said, I'm going to have Alex open up the gym early next week when we get in. So I was like, put that Bob right next to the door, because when you walk in the door, it's kind of hard to see right around the corner. Mm-hmm. So she walked,
and the lights, you know, they have those super high intensity lights that like take 30 seconds to warm up.
Well, he was right by the light switch.
Yeah, so you have to like turn to the light switch.
Yeah. So
yeah, and she come in like all kinds of mad at me, giving me the hateful face.
It was funny because last night when we were talking to Mom, I went to go see my mom at work, and Alex was with me. So I told Mom, I said, okay, I need to talk to Mom alone, Alex. So Alex walked away, and I told Mom what I was going to do, because Mom is the queen of scaring people. Oh. She's like, when you're in the bathroom at 2 a.m., you come out of the bathroom, and she's like standing there at the door. Bah! But so I told Mom about it, and she was dying laughing. And of course, Alex was over there like, what is so funny? And I was like, nothing. Nothing at all.
So we had to wait a couple of days for that one to go. Oh, is the hat still on it? I bet the hat's still on it.
I didn't know there was a hat on it.
Okay, we put a T-shirt on it because, and I also, I had a hat yesterday, a ball cap that I'd worn, and it got really sweaty, and it was kind of like stained white with salt. And so I hosed it off, but I needed to bring it inside the shop because it started raining. I thought, well, where am I going to put this hat so that it can dry? Oh, I'll stick it on Bob's head. There you go. So I stuck it on Bob's head. But,
so it actually probably looked like a real person.
Yeah, it would probably look like. Because it's 6 feet tall. I mean, I think you can adjust it like all the way up to like 6'2" or 6'3" or something like that. You can adjust it from like a 5.5 foot dude all the way up to like a 6 foot plus dude.
Well, when I was going through the gym earlier, like this weekend, I walked in there and it was dark in the gym, but I saw the Bob there. And then I came out of the gym. I was like, Dad, Bob almost got shot. Because he did. I thought it was a person standing there. I was like, you don't belong here. And that's when it clicked in my head. I was like, ooh, Alex. But, yeah. So I'm glad that happened.
So half of our listening audience are laughing, and the other half are writing you to tell you what a son of a bitch you are.
So. Whatever.
That just happened. That was spontaneous. That was not at all scripted.
I was like, why is she coming in here with a sour face?
She's got that mean look, and she's heading right towards the glass case. I'm like, what did I do? And my hands are clean in that. It was the boys are like,
yeah,
because it comes in a box, disassembled, and it doesn't require a lot of assembly, just some. So I asked Zachary. Saturday or Sunday, one of the days. I said, hey, can you go ahead and put that together for me? And of course, he's a good little shipping ogre. He did it, and he put it all together. And speaking of shipping ogre nonsense and stuff and junk, you should look at the social media site if you haven't yet, or if you have, what you saw is your like Mookie Militia stickers, and you're like, ooh, those are Mookie Militia stickers. Yeah, when we visited Ben last week in Florida, Florida, depending on who I'm talking to right now. We visited Ben in Florida. He gave me a stack of Mookie Militia stickers and said,
I think the first 3 orders...
Feel free to give these away to your fans and friends. So that's what I'm going to do.
I think that the first 3 orders over $50 should get a sticker.
Well, whatever. I told Zach, after I got mine and you take yours and what have you, what's ever left over, put it in the stack. If you guys have noticed, if you're a student of the gun store purchaser, if you buy stuff from us, you probably notice that you get the pickle most of the time. If we have a pickle, we give you a pickle. You get something in your box, some kind of a special prize or something neat or different or whatever. Like we were doing the SWAT Fuel wristbands for a long time, and we've done stickers, various stickers. I actually had a little box O stickers of just a ton of miscellaneous firearms industry stickers. And I said, here, these are doing no good sitting in a box.
Maybe we should start tapping the flash drives, because I'm never going to use those tiny things.
Oh, the 1 gig
like
flash.
Brownhouse, the 1 gig Brownhouse flash drives and stuff. We could just give them to people.
Any hooser. So there you have it. We hope that you guys are having a good week, and we've got lots of stuff to talk about today, as always. Now, remember, or do not forget, remember not to forget, or something like that.
Remember.
Yeah, that this week's sponsor of the week is Duracoat, Lauer Custom Weaponry. You're like, well, what's the deal with the Lauer Custom Weaponry, Paul? I hear you say that. Well, here, I'll tell you what the deal is. Steve Lauer is the head honcho, and he's the inventor, designer, dude of Duracoat. He created a product called Duracoat, and his last name is Lauer, and he has a company called Lauer Custom Weaponry, and they do more than just the Duracoat. They do lots of things. Steve's real big into Class 3 items, suppressors, and what have you. But obviously, the bread and butter, the main product is the Duracoat products. And Duracoat, you say, well, yeah, but I have a wooden stock gun that I want to refinish. You know what? They have something for that, too. If you have a beat-up wood stock and you want to refinish your beat-up wood stock, Duracoat has something for that. You say, well, I want to blue my gun. I don't want to make it, green or black or yellow or orange or red or anything crazy. I just want it to be blue. Okay, well, you can do that, too. They have a DuraBlue product. Or you can take it to any one of hundreds, thousands of Duracoat finishers, and they can do it for you. So this week, the featured sponsor, last week it was Velocity Triggers, and the week before that it was Crossbreed Holsters. Is that correct, Jared? Am I speaking on my butt?
Yes.
I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Well, anyway, this week is Duracoat, so if you have the opportunity, go to Duracoat's Facebook page and thank them, or you can go to their... I don't know if they have a Gun District page or not. You guys are killing it on Gun District, and I know I've said it before, but I'm going to keep saying it because you're doing a great job, so thank you. Everybody in the Student of the Gun audience who's gone over to gundistrict.com, kind of let people know that there is this thing called Gun District, and it is a Second Amendment gun-friendly social media site. You're like, wow, does that exist? Yeah, it exists, and it's called Gun District. So if you detest and despise Twitter and Facebook and all the other nonsense that comes out of California, well, there is an option for you. Oh, SWAT Fuel. Yeah, SWAT Fuel. Check those guys out at swatfuel.com. Make sure that you're using the promo code SOTG2015. And for that's what I wanted to talk about. I want to talk about my gun build from this weekend.
After you're done talking about that, I want to talk about Gumroad for a little bit.
Okay.
We've had a bunch of questions.
Put a pin in that. All right, very cool. Yeah, this weekend, as those of you who follow us on the social media know, I took that the KES, the compact entry stock, the retractable stock from Safety Harbor Firearms, and I installed it on a firearm. I installed it on a black rifle. And after I installed it on the black rifle and I tested to make sure that it was all good, then I took everything all apart and Duracoated it with a can of Tactical Black. Yes, it was a Canon can Tactical Black. It is extremely non-reflective. And the cool thing about the non-reflective Tactical Black stuff, or any of their non-reflective Duracoats, is they actually, compared to the other ones, compared to the ones that have a gloss or a semi-gloss, the tactical colors, the super flat colors, I guess you could call them, they tend to dry pretty quick, or they seem to dry much quicker. So, but I did that because, like most ARs that I own, I usually put a couple of things on it, like I'll change out the handguard or grip, or change the pistol grip, or something. And what I had on this particular black rifle is I had components that were Parkerized or blue color, and they kind of matched, but not 100%. And so what I did is I went ahead and covered them with the Duracoat. Now it's all the exact same shade of black. And as you know, those of you who follow us on Instagrammage, if you follow the Instagrammage, I applied a Duracoat gun tattoo to the new KES stock. If you want to see what that gun tattoo is, I'm not going to tell you. I'm not going to tell you on the radio. You have to go look. So, and the reason that I thought to bring that up is because I thought, well, what the heck? While I have this thing disassembled, this would probably be a good time to drop a Velocity trigger in it. And I did. And I was blown away yet again by how ridiculously easy it is to install. I know a lot of you guys are probably taking apart your lower receiver, or you're taking apart your black rifle, and you look down into the lower receiver, and you see the springs, and you see the hammer, and you see the sear, and you see all that stuff, and the trigger, and you're like, ooh, I probably shouldn't mess with that. Or that looks like a lot of components, and I don't know if I can do it. Believe me, brother, if you can walk and chew gum, if you can drive an automobile, you can install a Velocity trigger in your black rifle. You need a punch. You need I don't know what the exact size of the punch is. I don't care. You need a punch the size of the trigger pin and the hammer pin. And you just tap those out, save them, don't lose those parts, remove the original trigger, set it aside, because you never know when you might want another one. Or give it to your buddy Jim. I don't care. And then you take the Velocity trigger out of the package. You can follow the directions if you want. That'd probably be a good thing. Put the original pins back in, put the locking screws in, tighten them down with some type of thread locker, test it, and make sure that you align the safety lever correctly. But literally, it almost took me as long to explain that as it takes you to do it. I think 10 minutes maybe total.
Yeah, I remember when you put the trigger. Remember you were done before coffee. The trigger?
I was before coffee was finished brewing.
Yeah, you started the pot brewing. You went in, you changed the trigger, and then you went back, and the pot wasn't even done yet.
Oh, I forgot about that. But there you go. It's start brewing your coffee. Go change your trigger. By the time you're done, the coffee will be done brewing.
Yep.
Unless you're a hippie and you use a Keurig, then
Yeah. Well, then you can't start the pot. So there's that. I'm gonna.
All right. Tell everybody. So Velocity triggers at velocitytriggers.com. Black rifles, triggers.
They go together pretty well.
They go together.
All black rifles have to have a trigger, right?
That's right. Well, they should. I recommend it. I'm not a scientist, but I recommend that you have a trigger. And Crossbreed holsters. Carrying a gun? You should be. If you're not, I don't know what to tell you. But if you decide to carry a gun, carry it in a Crossbreed holster. Go to crossbreedholsters.com.
That's funny. We've had a lot of questions from everybody that's joined the grad program. All of you guys that were already members that have switched over now. You will still be able to access all of the products that you've purchased in Gumroad, minus the grad program. So if you've got the Arm Living DVD in there, if you've got any books that we have on Gumroad, then you'll still be able to log into your account and access those. I've had a lot of questions like, hey, am I going to be able to get this over on the new grad program? Maybe eventually. I got to figure out how to work that in there, how I'm going to give access and stuff like that. But you guys are fine right now. Just go to Gumroad. If you have the mobile app, then you can download the mobile app and just get to your library from there. You'll still be able to access everything that you've already purchased. The only thing that's changed is that you will not be able to get the update for the grad program every Friday. What I'm doing now is every Friday I'll be sending an email to the current subscribers that are still on Gumroad, and it'll basically have a link to the new grad program saying, hey, if you want the bonus hour, if you want the tactical tutor, if you want the celebrity interviews, if you want all this stuff, then you're going to have to go over there and switch over. And I'll be doing that for 30 days from whenever I announced it last time. So like probably October 18th or something like that. Sounds familiar?
Sounds familiar.
Sounds like a good plan, October 18th. Right? That's the last day?
Yes.
Sure. Okay.
Am I missing something? Is October 18th a specific day or date?
Nope.
No? Oh, okay.
But when I announced it...
I know the 10th is, or the 11th is.
10th or 11th.
When's that grappling competition?
Oh, the 10th, yeah.
It's the 10th in New Orleans?
Yep, 10th.
Are you locked in for that? Are we locked in for that? Is it a Naga, or is it something?
Yeah, it's a Naga. I haven't registered yet.
Naga.
Yeah, I'm going to go to that. I'll be in New Orleans October 10th, if anybody's going to be there.
You're spelling that wrong. I know what you mean, but you're spelling it wrong.
Yeah.
No, I'm not spelling it wrong. Well, there's a Naga, and then there's an NASGW, and they're both going to be in New Orleans 2 weeks apart, but they're not the same thing.
No.
And one of those you can go and get choked out by Jared, and the other one you can go and get choked out by me. So, depending on your preference, I don't know, but we might not want to say that on the radio. The other N-word people, the NAS people might be like, oh, we're rescinding your pass.
Yeah.
If you're going to choke people out on the floor, right, we don't want you to be here. I mean, you never know what's going to happen.
Maybe they'll pay us to go there.
It's an imperfect world.
Yeah.
Things happen, it's crazy. Well, are we ready to move on? Does that cover everything you need to talk about Gumroad?
Yeah, everything I need to talk about Gumroad is covered. I just want to take a second to say congratulations to Jeremy, Daniel, and Miranda. They did their Ironman. That was Jeremy's first one, and I looked at a picture of Jeremy. Mm-hmm. He got skinny. I know he was pretty skinny.
He was already skinny?
He was already skinny, but he got skinnier.
Is he looking at an Auschwitz victim or what?
No, not quite. He just looks like he's in pretty good shape now. But they did 145 miles. That's a lot. That's something that a lot of people will probably never do.
On purpose?
Yeah.
Were they being chased?
I don't know.
Okay.
I guess Ironmans, I've never really researched those, but I think that they do swimming. Yeah, they do biking and they do running.
Run, bike, swim.
So that's a long.
Sometimes they can't swim because there's not a large body of water available, so they have to do something else. I think. I'm not sure.
Well, I would think that in Chattanooga, Tennessee, there is a large body of water available.
But throw them in the water. Yeah. Throw them in a river or something. Yeah. You got to be careful swimming in rivers because the river wants to go a different place than you want to go, quite frankly.
Yeah.
Unless you just want to go where the river goes. And you're like, okay, I'm good. Looking at rivers, though, I mean, I understand it's water, but the stuff that goes into it, like, for instance, the Mississippi River. If you've ever sat on the shore of the Mississippi River for any length of time and watched and seen the stuff that floats down the river, and I'm not talking necessarily just about dead bodies or anything like that, but, they're like large trees.
I'm not talking just about dead bodies.
Large trees and debris and things that fall off of ships and what have you. I can't imagine like swimming in a river and having a tree that used to be standing in someone's yard or what have you, like an actual tree, and you're like, and that's the funny thing about that is you see it floating in the water, and you're like, oh, how pristine and serene that is. You don't think that thing weighs 400 pounds. You don't ever look at the floating tree and think, if that ran into me, that would hurt a lot. If that ran into my boat, it would hurt a lot. But, all right, enough about water, enough about trees, enough about all that stuff. Let's go ahead and do we have a theme song for this? I don't think we do. There should be a theme song, but I titled this American Pride. sarcastically. I turned sarcastically. Sarcastically, I'm in charge. That's it. Sarcastically, I'm in charge. Soldier beaten on street in Kansas City. What? And thank you, Student of the Gun Grad Program members, for sharing this with us so I could be depressed yet again. However, this is a story that you should probably know about, because if you don't know about it, well, what do we know about from G.I. Joe? That knowing is half the battle, right? Dateline, September 26th, updated September 27th, from www.kctv5.com. That would be KCTV5, the news of Kansas City. Now, Kansas City, M.O., by the way, Kansas City, Missouri. And you're like, why is it? Never mind. Just don't stop thinking about it. It's going to hurt your brain. Soldier beaten senseless by 6 men outside of Plaza Restaurant. Kansas City, Missouri, an active duty member of the U.S. Army was viciously beaten by a group of 6 young men outside a country club plaza area. Outside a country club plaza area restaurant. God in heaven, I hate what kind of a sentence is that? And Kansas City police haven't made any arrests. Now, that is an important part of the story, kids, so keep that in mind as we progress. The investigation was hampered because the dining establishment, Zacaola Mexican Restaurant, didn't have any working security cameras, according to Kansas City police. The 37-year-old soldier suffered significant loss of blood after he suffered numerous broken bones to his face, possible optic nerve damage to one of his eyes, and a skull fracture. The man's injuries were serious, but he's expected to survive. Oh, well, that's good, according to KCPD. As of Friday, the victim was still in the hospital. The man is on active duty at a nearby military facility. We don't want to say which one. That is a secret, apparently. A nearby military facility. All right, those of you who know your geography in Kansas City, you can figure it out. Sergeant Kerry Thompson of KCPD said Friday that the injured man accidentally bumped into another man inside of the restaurant, which is located at 620 West 48th. The man who was bumped tried to start a fight, and the restaurant manager kicked him out. Okay, ding. Clue. All right. About 12:10 a.m., September 19th, the soldier walked out of... Wow, it took him a week to report this story? That seems crazy. So this happened on the 19th, and they didn't report it until the 26th? Well, I guess they were busy. They had a lot of stuff to talk about during that week. The soldier walked out of the restaurant, and the man he bumped and his gang of buddies were waiting for him because they were, quote, looking for a fight, according to KCPD. A witness said the suspect sucker punched the soldier. The gang began to punch and kick the prone man. Friends of the soldier heard the fight and tried to rush to his aid. 2 of them were kicked and punched, which required paramedics to treat them at the scene. One of the men who rushed to help his friend was punched in the face with a closed fist. Oh, well, thank you for pointing that out, KCPD. He was punched in the face with a closed fist.
Yeah, I was just reading that earlier. I was like, how else are you punched? With an open fist? Because that's called slapping.
Yeah, okay. This is journalism here.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, this is like college-level journalism. And a second man suffered a bloody nose and mouth.
But that wasn't from a punch in the face with a closed fist.
Well, we don't know. We only can confirm one of those. As police were called the hoodlums, they're hoodlums. They jumped into their thesaurus for that one. They didn't call them hoods or thugs because that's racist. Jumped into a white vehicle, and raced from the scene. But not that kind of race. They raced from the scene. So we have a description of the vehicle. It was a white vehicle. Mm-hmm. All right. So we know that it must be racist and evil because it is a white vehicle. One of the men with the primary aggressor had an open tab at the bar and had left his debit card behind.
So how in the heck did these people not get arrested?
Police have that person's name, but that still hasn't led to any arrests. Okay. Quote, it should be noted that all the involved parties were heavily intoxicated, according to the police report. The brutal attack has stirred outrage on social media, in part because the victim and his friends were white, while the attackers were young black men in their mid to late 20s. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, let me go ahead and clue you into how things work in the modern media. This story, the story that includes 6 suspects at large, 6 vicious attackers, people who will attack you, will wait, who have nothing to do with their time apparently, but hang around in a parking lot and wait for you to come out so that they can attack you because you dissed them. The second, all that is left after the identifying paragraph is the police did not provide any additional details on the soldier and his friends. So while they can say, the KCTV5 can legitimately say, oh, we didn't wait till the last paragraph to give a physical description of the attackers, who are still at large. It was the second to last sentence in the story. Jared, how do people read in America? How do people read news stories?
Oh, maybe they'll make it halfway through.
They
start with the title, and then some of them don't even make it past that.
They'll start with the title. They'll look at the picture.
Yep.
And the picture is a sunset. What the F?
It's the Plaza. That's probably where the area where he was.
So the picture that with this story, soldier beaten senseless by 6 men outside of Plaza restaurant, not the victim, not a description of the aggressors, not like a pencil drawing from the police detective. Hey, look out! These people are out there. Be aware. Be on the lookout. No, the picture of the story is a beautiful sunset scene. Well, the sun setting over the plaza.
The media's goal is not to actually catch the attackers. It's actually just to stir the pot. That's exactly what they're doing. They don't really care.
So did you notice that they were able to provide a description of the vehicle, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like 6 paragraphs before they described the 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, it was 4 paragraphs before. So 4, and these are tiny. This is broken up, like in 2-sentence paragraphs. But so they were able to describe the white vehicle that the hoodlums, not hoods or thugs, because those words are racist, and
Could we call them hoodies?
Yeah, the hoodies.
Yeah.
Oh, you want to call the hoodlums hoodies?
Yeah, there we go.
You're being racist now. All right, let's lessons learned. Let's go down to lessons learned here in the United States of America, 2015. Lesson learned number 1, and this could be 1 or 2. Do not allow yourself to be in public unarmed. Well, Paul, but you don't understand. I can't be armed. Why can't you be armed? Because someone told me I couldn't. Oh, okay. So step 1, someone told you that you couldn't be armed, so now you're not. Well, congratulations, you are a slave. I'm not a slave. I'm a law-abiding citizen. Which law are you following? Are you following man's law? Are you following God's law? Are you following nature's law? Or are you following malum prohibitum? What's more important? What is the overall trump card in humankind, in human nature, here on planet Earth? What's more important? Go back to your founding documents. Founding documents? What are those? You mean what they used to create the United States of America as a representative republic? But
we're a democracy, don't you understand?
Yeah, I'll come through the glass and punch you in the face if you say that. We're not a democracy. I don't
Mookie
think
says you can't make it through this glass.
Yeah, actually, Mookie said that I'm not making it through that glass. I never knew a pipe hitter that was a glass geek. That was a glass aficionado.
Mookie has many personalities.
So, you're like, yeah, when we founded this nation, this representative republic, they actually had research material. They had research material. They didn't just make this crap up. They weren't just sitting around in a pub in Philadelphia and they're like, hey, Ben, you want to make a country? Tom, rock on. Woo! Let's make a country, bro. What are we going to do? I don't know. Just write some crap down on a piece of paper. We'll call it good. No, that's not how the United States of America happened. The United States of America happened very deliberately. It took a long time. And the Founding Fathers learned their lessons from history. And one of the things that they discussed often was nature's law, the law of nature, how human beings can and should deal with each other and their governments and so forth. So step number 1, you're disarmed because someone told you you had to be. Okay, congratulations. You'll feel from your hospital bed or the morgue, you can feel morally upright because you allowed yourself to be disarmed. Congratulations. Step number 2, never allow yourself to become intoxicated in public where you cannot defend yourself. If you allow yourself to become so intoxicated in public that you cannot actively defend yourself, you are wrong. Yeah, I'm not a monk. I like to have a good time and I like to relax, but I do not allow myself to become intoxicated to the point where I cannot defend myself or anyone else in public. Okay? I'm not 18, 19, 20 anymore. I'm not a child. I'm an adult man with adult responsibilities.
Speaking of being an adult and stuff, remind me to tell you about the dude walking down the street this morning on my way to work.
Okay. Lessons learned. Let's see, number 3. If someone, all right, this wasn't just a bump, oh, excuse me, and then he was surprised. The guy who he bumped, who he dissed in the restaurant, was aggrieved and angry and had to be kicked out by the restaurant manager. That would be a clue that you now have someone who has become your enemy. Maybe your enemy just for a day, but now you know that there is an aggressor who is actively, so it takes us from condition yellow to condition orange to condition red, for those of you that are hip to the color codes. But those of you who have read articles on the internet and you decided not to be situationally aware because it's a myth, well, then I guess you get stuff like this. Maybe the soldier in question, Jared, maybe this guy, maybe the victim had read that article about situational awareness and how it was a myth, and you didn't even need to do it.
Yep.
You didn't need to pay attention. Actually, according to some experts, maintaining situational awareness makes you more of a victim, more likely to be a victim. So there's that.
So you shouldn't do it ever.
Yeah, there's that.
Just go ahead and get drunk.
Just get drunk and allow yourself to be sucker punched. And you're like, oh, Paul, sounds like you're blaming the victim here. Well, I kind of am, to a certain extent. Well, that's not cool. Okay, let's talk about the victim's friends. The victim's friends rushed in to assist their victim, but were not able to stop him from getting his skull fractured and optical nerve damage and, speaking with a slur for the rest of his life. Why? Why is this going to happen? Why is this guy now going to have probably permanent damage? Like the rest of his life, he's going to carry around this damage. Jared, do you know anything about deadly force or the definition of deadly force?
Indeed.
Now, if someone receives permanent physical scarring, injury, disability, and so forth, does that or does that not constitute deadly force?
Do you want to know where I learned about deadly force?
From when you were a freshman in health class in high school?
I was going to say, I didn't even realize that I was taking your armed living class when I was younger, but that's what I did. My entire life, I've been taking your classes.
You've been
without
studying.
Even knowing it, yeah.
You're welcome.
But anyway, yeah, so death or serious bodily harm.
So, and people are like, well, all right, Mr. Smart Gun Guy. You're like, oh, I'm to carry a gun. I carry a gun. What are you supposed to do if there's 6 guys attacking your buddy and none of them have guns? Then your gun doesn't do you any good, does it? Well, it might not do you any good, but this guy understands the definition of deadly force. And this guy understands that the courts, not Paul Markel, it's not me making this crap up, understands that if more than one person attack a single person, they have the physical ability to do greater than normal physical harm to that person, up to and including killing that person. And the courts have recognized that when two physically fit adult males attack a single adult male, that the disparity of force is greatly in favor of the attackers. And therefore, the defender may use a, quote, greater than normal amount of force in order to stop that force.
Do you want to know what also would have stopped this from happening? Some pepper spray, because...
Well, not after the dude was on the ground being stomped.
No, I mean...
That would only work.
You have to have situational awareness to use pepper spray.
No, that's a myth.
Oh,
don't you know?
Crap. I guess I'm wrong.
And besides that, don't you know all the pepper spray haters out there? They're like, that's no good for... That's okay for police officers, but it's no good for civilians.
What?
Yeah, that's no good for citizens.
Nobody's ever said that to me. Why?
Oh,
why?
No.
What's their reasoning?
I have no idea. I can't even wrap my brain around
If it works for
that.
cops, why would I not want it?
Oh, no, because, well, they have more training than you. And
Actually, that's a lie.
that's actually...
Sadly.
Yeah, you have more training than... Unless we're talking about, like, you know, L.A. SWAT or something like that, you have more training than pretty much every cop you encounter. But...
Le SWAT.
But regardless, so here we go. We've got a guy who's getting his skull bashed in, Reginald Denny style there, although they didn't say they had a brick. We've got friends that rush in to help, kind of, but not really, who end up becoming victims themselves. And all over what? Over nothing, essentially. Over nothing. And the media, being the gracious people that they are, not wanting to taint you against, you know, these young urbanites. We wouldn't want you to, you know, to be prejudiced against the thugs and the hoods, the hoodlums.
Hoodies.
Yeah, the hoodie. You're such a...
You almost said it. I almost got you.
You're such an idiot. We wouldn't want you to prejudice you against them. So we'll wait until the very end of the story when we know that 98% of all people have stopped reading. You think there might be a little bit of an agenda in the media to make sure that you are kept in the dark about certain things? We wouldn't want to prejudice you against the thugs. We wouldn't want to paint the thugs in a bad light, because that would just be wrong. There's so many. Now, we're 38 minutes in, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to stop it right there. But, ladies and gentlemen, if you did not learn any lessons from that story that we just hipped you to, I'm not really sure what to say to you, and I don't think you can learn any lessons. Lesson number 1, don't become intoxicated in public where you cannot defend yourself. Number 2, don't go unarmed in public. Lesson number 3, if someone accosts you or confronts you, that is a clue. Pay attention. That person may still be out there. You need to raise your level of awareness. But whatever. I'm just talking. You're just a dude talking. What do you know? You don't know anything about anything. I'm just going to go out unarmed, drunk, and hope for the best. There you go. Frog lube. You know what I put on my new gun? Well, it's not a new gun. It's a gun that I've had for a while. Do you know
it looks new now.
What I put on the black rifle that has the new... Well, I had to put a... when you install the KES stock, the from Safety Harbor there, the compact entry stock, when you install that, they actually give you, and we talked about this, but they give you a new bolt carrier. It's actually a shortened bolt carrier. So I put the existing bolt, firing pin, cam pin, all that jazz. I put that into the new bolt carrier, and when I did that, I took the opportunity to clean it and put frog lube on it so that it should be running well. We haven't shot it yet. I know I'm itching. And I also know that I kind of screwed myself because you're supposed to allow Duracoat to cure and harden and set up, essentially, for 2 weeks before any, quote, hard use. But I'm thinking maybe if I go to the range and deliberately don't throw it on the ground or drag it behind the truck or anything, that just test firing it might be okay. What do you think, Jared? I'll probably do that.
Yeah.
And I haven't done it yet because I was taking pictures of it, but I know that I'm going to put Frog Lube on the retractable stock rails. I'm sure that will make them function very well. So Frog Lube, it's green, it's minty fresh, it just works. Check them out at froglube.com. Century Arms is the sponsor of the Student of the Gun mobile app and the Student of the Gun radio show. Thank you to Century Arms. If you haven't checked out their website here lately, you're missing something. They put a lot of time and effort into redesigning their website, and it is mobile friendly now. Yay! Make Google happy. So check those guys out. CenturyArms.com. And finally, Brownells. If you want to purchase Frog Lube, if you want to purchase Duracoat, if you want to purchase pretty much anything that goes in, on, under, attaches, if it goes into a gun, if it attaches to a gun, whatever. If it's gun
comes
related,
out of a gun,
whatever. You can get it from Brownells.com. So
goes into your body.
Yeah, well, check
That's
out
water.
Their new emergency water, emergency food, whatever, Band-Aids, you name it. They've got a new products page. If you do nothing else when you go to brownells.com, click on the new products page to see what's available, because there may be something new and cool that you weren't even aware of. All right, the last thing we're going to talk about today is Duracoat versus Cerakote. And this is the genie is kind of out of the bottle now, and Jared and I have been aware of this going all the way back to April at NRA. At the NRA show in April, we found out from our friends that there was some shenanigans going on in the industry, that there was some dirty pool being played. And now, a lot of you folks out there, when you hear this and when you see this story, the whole reason I'm taking a moment to do this is because of the fact that in the industry, in any industry, you're going to have rivalries, and the customer or the outsider looks at the rivalries and they're like, well, they're both equal parties. Everybody has their own opinion and their own say, and you may be tempted to view this as a Coke versus Pepsi, Ford versus Chevy, whatever. And in the gun industry or the gun culture, what do we know, Jared? How do people view their preferred tools and toys?
As like
a religion.
Yeah, like a part of their body.
Yeah, they put...
It's like their appendage.
Essentially, the gun culture, we invest our egos into our choice of toys. Oh, they're not toys, they're serious defensive tools. Shut up. If they were serious defensive tools to you, you wouldn't invest so much of your ego in the Glock versus 1911 versus SIG versus whatever. Here's the deal, folks. Gun culture people get so hard wrapped around the axle from brand loyalty that quite often they lose any rational ability for rational thought. They can't even think. They act emotionally like women. Exactly. And I know Jared gave me the look. He gave me the wide-eyed look.
I did the ooh.
Ooh, you stepped in it now. There you up. You done did it. You hear that? Let me tell you what, buddy. No, let me tell you what, buddy.
Even women are honest about it.
The women who listen to us are our female listeners are honest, are intellectually honest female listeners. They'll be like, women are like, yeah, other women are bitches. Yeah, that's true. Ask an intellectually honest woman and be like, yeah, hell yeah. They're all emotional, drama-filled biatches. So that's what the gun culture has become. The gun culture quite often becomes a bunch of drama queens and emotionally involved biatches. When it comes to, you talk about whether it's Kimber versus whatever, I don't care. And this subject right here, this Duracoat subject, Duracoat versus Cerakote, you and most of your friends, when you initially encounter this, are going to be like, oh, they're both, well, I can see fault on both parts, or blah, blah, blah. And quite often, the person who cries foul is perceived as the complainer or the crybaby or what have you. You're like, oh, that guy's just being a crybaby because, he's losing business to the other company. you say, but that other company lied about his products. Well, that might be true, but we don't even know if that's true. And even if it is true, I'm going to ignore it because I have a cognitive dissonance and my ego is wrapped up in this argument. Well, here's what we found out. We found out in this spring that Company C, according to news reports and a lawsuit that has since been settled, was using trademark words such as Lauer, like Lauer Custom Weaponry, and Duracoat, and purchasing Google ads that said things like, buy Duracoat products or buy Duracoat here. And so you, as a consumer, you're like, I've heard about this Duracoat stuff. Let me go and check it. So you go to Google, because that's what you do in the world today. And you type in the word Duracoat, and the top two hits are buy Duracoat here. And you're like, oh, okay, cool. So you click on it, and it redirects you to Cerakote's website. Well, being a neophyte and a new person, you're like, oh, well, I don't know. Is there a difference or whatever? So you just continue to shop and buy, and you purchase the other company's products. That would be like O'Reilly's Auto Parts or something, I don't know, saying, buying an ad that says shop at AutoZone.com, and you click on it and it takes you to O'Reilly Auto Parts, and you just go ahead and order the parts from them because you don't know any better. You're probably thinking, wow, that's really kind of slimy. Yeah, well, it really kind of happened. And, normally the good people in the industry, there are some slime balls in the firearms industry, but there's a lot of good people. And the good people in the industry are so busy running their companies. They're so busy creating. They're so busy innovating. They're so busy actually running their companies that they don't have time to even consider the competition. That's somebody else's job. When you're somebody like Steve Lauer, or Walt from Safety Harbor. I was talking to Walt from Safety Harbor this weekend, and he says, dude, I really don't, I don't talk bad about my competition. He said, number one, there's no point in it, and number two, I don't have time.
Yeah.
He said, I'm so busy running my business, making my products. He said, I don't even have time. That's somebody else's job to be worried about my competition. But Walt was aware of it. He's like, yeah, I just found out about the shady shenanigans that were going on. Well, the folks at Duracoat would not have even known anything about this, except that then there became this kind of blog behind the scenes firestorm where Company C was essentially bad-mouthing and slandering them in public. Mm-hmm. You say, well, you can say anything you want, and well, you kind of can. Here's the thing: libel and slander. Right? One of them is for written word. Slander is spoken and libel is written, but they essentially are the same thing. I learned this in law school, Cheech. I learned this in law school, that the truth can never be slander or libel. If you speak the truth, someone cannot sue you for slander or libel. They must prove that it was a lie. So if you want to sue someone for slander, sue someone for libel, malicious libel or whatever, first you have to establish that the person in question uttered a falsehood. Okay? Well, what the folks at Duracoat did is they went ahead and they people are like, well, it's their word against the other one's word. Okay, they did. However, and this is all public now. This is all public. They engaged an independent laboratory and submitted samples to an independent laboratory. And according to the report titled Report 1025 ASTM B117 corrosion testing of Q panels coated with Cerakote H146Q by Jeremy L. Lewis, Touchstone Research Laboratories Limited, Millennium Center, Tri-Philadelphia, West Virginia, submitted on May 19th, 2015. And if you would like, you can read the corrosion resistance report. And this is how long of a report is this? Dude, it is so long.
That's what she said.
Wow. Well, Well, it's not that bad. Okay, well, there's the conclusions are first, and then it's a multi-page report. But I'm going to tell you this. Okay, conclusions. Derp, derp, derp. No conclusions are provided with this part of the report. Red rust was witnessed on all 4 of the plates after 169 hours. This was communicated to the customer, and it was then requested by the customer that the samples continue to be tested until more significant rusting was observed. Upon photographic review, the customer requested the samples be removed after 467 hours of exposure. Only photographs. Da, 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 da. All right, here's the deal. They submitted the panels, and the panels that were coated with Cerakote did indeed rust after 169 hours. You say, well, BFD, right? Well, here's the dealio, There's a lot of slander going on around here. There is a lawsuit that I'm aware of that has currently been, well, it is over. It is finished. But when it comes down to it, at the end of the day, and this is where I come down. Now, I'll tell you this, in the last 20 plus years of being in the firearms industry, I had a firearm project and it was refinished by Cerakote. I've had firearms projects refinished by Duracoat. As you know, because you are a dedicated listener to Student of the Gun, and maybe you're not, maybe this is your first time, congratulations and welcome. Duracoat is a supporter of ours. We are friends with them. We know them personally. We know the people personally. And that right there is where I'm going to come down on this. Folks, regardless of what your favorite flavor is, regardless of what you like, what you don't like, your favorite caliber, your favorite color, your favorite action style, what have you, in the world, I deal with people that I believe that I can trust, people who have earned my trust. And the Lauer family, and they are a family-owned business, they have earned my trust. Not just because they sponsor Student of the Gun. I knew them long before they came on board as sponsors of Student of the Gun. I've known them for many years. And they are people that I trust. Now, you can say, well, that's just you talking, Paul. It is just me talking. It absolutely is me talking. At the end of the day, there's this thing called integrity. And I believe they have it. There's a thing called trust. And they have my trust. I trust them. It's like, well, there's also another report out that Cerakote does not have any ceramic in it. It's not a ceramic product. You're like, well, yes, it is. It says CERA in the name. Well, okay, whatever. I don't care. And can products that don't have ceramic in them work? Sure. And let's just say for S's and G's that both products perform identically. Now, the one thing that people are like, I had a gun that was Duracoated and it rusted or this, and I would say to you, was it the product or was it the guy who put it on? And if it's one thing that I've learned in my experience from gun refinishing and so forth, the person that actually applies it and the job that they did has a lot to do with how it comes out, because you have to do it right. A lot of knuckleheads will just get the stuff and they'll spray it on there, and then you're like, oh, it chipped off or it broke. It's like, whatever. You're like, well, did they do the prep work correctly? Well, I don't know. I guess. I don't know. And you got like, I've got a buddy who had a guy Duracoat a gun for him, and it came off. I'm like, okay, well, what did your buddy's buddy do? Well, I don't know. He just sprayed that stuff on. Okay. When it comes down to it, the people that I'm going to support, the people that I'm going to get behind, are the people who have earned my trust. And in the Duracoat versus Cerakote color wars, this is what I know. I know that the Lauer family has earned my trust. Now, you can decide, you're an American, or you're in Switzerland, or you're an Australian, or you may be a tax slave somewhere out in the world, and you happen to speak English and you're listening to me. Congratulations. But here in the United States of America, where we currently reside, the reason I will support and I will stand behind Duracoat is because I know them. They have earned my trust, and I'm going to stick with them. And I also know that if something goes wrong or there's a problem, I can contact them. And if it is a problem, then they will fix it. That's what I know. And as you're going to, if you haven't encountered this story yet, if you're a gun culture person, you're going to. That's the main reason that we're doing this today, is because I know that the genie is out of the bottle and that you are going to encounter this story at some point in time. And that's why I wrote the article. There's an accompanying article that goes along with this, because I know not everybody listens to the radio show, although that still kind of dumbfounds me that people wouldn't. All right, I'm looking at my show notes, and my show notes say that it's time to shut your mouth, Paul. And if you guys want to get into, that's the thing about radio, is I don't want to read verbatim all of the stuff that's going on. So what we're going to do, if you want to read verbatim the behind the scenes stuff, you want to read the salt spray test, you want to read the whether or not Cerakote has ceramic in it test, the independent laboratory research, you want to do that, you have that kind of time on your hands, rock on. Go to studentofthegunradio.com and click on today's episode, and there will be a link that'll take your happy little butt right there, and you can read it to your heart's content. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is a special long episode of Student of the Gun Radio today. And is that okay, Jared? Is that all right that we do that?
Sure.
Jared says sure. So that means it's okay. What do you want me to tell them? You want me to tell them that they're beginners once and students for life? Should I do that? I just did. Talk to you tomorrow, folks. Bye.